World Fringe backwards.
Hello, welcome to World Fringe Day, both of you. How are you?
Very
Fantastic.
good. Thank you.
Good. And Anne, Anne-Marie, why don't you tell us where you're from, what fringe you support or run?
Sure. So I live in Joshua Tree, California in the US, and I am one of the co-founders and co-producers of the High Desert Fringe Festival here in Joshua Tree, and we call it Hi-DeF for short.
It's a good name.
It is a good name.
And is it actually in the desert where you put it on?
Well, we do have our stages inside buildings with air conditioning, but yes, it's in the desert.
Brilliant. Amazing.
Yeah.
Nana, tell us where you're from.
I'm from Reykjavík in Iceland. So we just had our second Fringe Festival last week. So we've just finished. And yeah, I'm super excited to be talking to you guys. And I was just in Joshua Tree last month with the show. So I'm super excited to hear more about that as well.
You weren't at the Fringe, were you?
I was at the San Diego Fringe, and seeing as my partner loves Joshua Tree, it's one of his favorite places in the world, and we had a show called A Box in the Desert. We took our box to the desert and put it up and took some promo shots.
Oh,
Fantastic.
That is so brilliant. How great that you guys are in the same World Fringe Day meeting. That's wonderful. So, Anne-Marie, when's your Fringe? When does that happen? And how many venues and how many shows and things like that?
Sure. So we are also in our second year this year. So this is so fantastic. And our festival will be August 23rd to 25th of this year. And it takes place at the Joshua Tree Retreat Center. We have 3 stages, and so we'll have performances going on simultaneously on all 3 stages. We started small last year because we had no idea how much of an audience or how many performers we would get. And we're growing modestly this year, but it's been a good venue, especially because it's very warm in the summer and all the buildings have air conditioning.
Yes. So that is during your summertime, is it?
Yes. Yeah.
Brilliant. And Nana, how about you? You've just finished, so you come on your kind of festival come down. Are you exhausted? Are you okay?
It's great. I've cleaned my apartment yesterday. I still have one artist staying with me until tomorrow, but then the rest, all of them have left by tomorrow.
Yeah.
It was great. We doubled in size from last year, so it was a bit full on.
Yes.
We had 100 shows, 100 different events, performed over 250 times and in 20 venues.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a lot going on.
Yeah. God, that sounds great. Well done.
That's a big growth.
Yeah, congratulations. And how does
Might scale down a little bit next year. Focus.
And Anne-Marie, how does the area surrounding your festival embrace, and how do your audiences embrace your festivals?
Well, it's interesting because up here in our small community, we have I think 4 theater companies that do different produced staged events year round. But there wasn't a Fringe festival for miles around, which is why we started it. And people at first were saying, Fringe, what's Fringe? And so it was a real opportunity to get educational with different parts of the community. But the people who came last year were very excited, and people kept saying, now that we know what Fringe is, we're going to tell all our friends to come back. And this year we've had people asking, when's the Fringe Festival? When's the Fringe Festival? And there have been so many more artists who have wanted to apply, and so many more people asking about volunteering and how they can start getting tickets, and even families with kids, which was a really nice surprise. People with kids want to participate a lot more as well. So it's been good. And we have people here who live here who are retirees, people who are in the military, all kinds of different artists. So it's a real crossroads. And then, of course, we have visitors from all over the world, including Reykjavik. Yeah.
I find it super interesting. Sorry, I find it super interesting that you have this festival out in the Joshua Tree Park, and you both have Hollywood Fringe and San Diego Fringe right around you. So you should definitely look into getting them involved and collaborating. And I'm assuming you're going to get artists from LA and San Diego to Joshua Tree, as they're the closest cities, right?
Yeah. Last year we had people participating. We had a number of acts participating who had been performing at the Hollywood Fringe. This year we do have someone who's going to participate who had been at the San Diego Fringe. Yeah, so they're expanding, and they're about two and a half hour drive away from us, so it's not very far at all.
No, and we're talking to Ben and Kevin together later, so we will tell them we've spoken to you guys.
I'll say hi to Kevin.
Kevin's super enthusiastic, so he'll be on it.
How do artists apply to your festivals? What programming model do you use?
So are you talking
Go to
me or me?
Anna, you go.
Well, we are a part of the Nordic Fringe Network. So we actually have one application for 8 different festivals across 6 countries. So which is convenient if people want to go to more than one festival in the Nordic countries. They can just tick, I want to go to Denmark and Iceland and Sweden, or I want to go to this festival. And it's not just the Scandinavian countries. We also have Lithuania involved in the Nordic Fringe Network. Denmark is new to it as well, so they've just got added on for next year. And yeah, it's they all operate slightly differently. We have an application fee, a very small one, just to make sure that in case we get a lot of applications, we can pay someone to go through them, or have a more serious applications coming through.
Yeah.
And then as long as we find people a venue, they're in. So so very open access, and but Reykjavik is small, and we are not able to accommodate everything, perhaps, but so far so good.
Yeah. How about you, Anne-Marie? How do people get involved?
Oh, hi.
With a child, this is my son. Here you go.
Hi.
Extra person.
Hi.
Gave me a total shock.
That happens to me all the time too. So people can apply to the High Desert Fringe Festival at our website, highdesertfringe.org. And we also have a small application fee. This year it was $25 US, and it's also to help offset the cost of keeping the website up and whatnot. And so far we've been able to accommodate everyone who has applied. If we get a bigger increase in the number of applications, then we're going to have to add to our venue over at the Joshua Tree Retreat Center, or reach out to some of the other theaters in the area. But we do want to try to keep everything up in the high desert communities as we expand. But the application is open to artists around the world, and we've had a variety of different performance models applying last year and this year, from just small spoken word events to full-length plays. This year we took off our time limit because we felt like we could make things work at different stages at different times. So that's been fun too, to see what kind of people or what kind of acts are applying without a time limit. And it's been good to see what different kinds of performance pieces want to come in, and everybody's welcome to apply.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay. And in terms of accessibility, do you have any initiatives within your festivals that apply to making it more accessible to more diverse sector artists and audiences as well? Nana, do you want to talk about if you've got anything in place for that?
Well, we're based on an island in the North Atlantic Sea. So, but fortunately, we're right in between the US and Europe. So we get a lot of, and it's a very popular tourist destination. So
Yes.
a lot of artists are sort of coming to Reykjavik to kind of, kill two birds with one stone, and both come and show their art, and as well come and enjoy their time here as a tourist.
Yes.
So we've partnered up with Hlemmer Square, that is both a hotel and hostel. So they always host our opening parties, and they give all artists 30% discount of both hotel or hostel rooms. So if you want to share a bunk with a bunch of others, or if you want to have your own private room, you kind of have that choice.
That's
And
good.
this year we partnered up with Grey Line Bus Tour Company as well, and they offered all artists 20% off tours. So that includes the fly bus coming from the airport into the city, and also on day tours, all of their best-selling tours. So a lot of people took advantage of that.
Yeah.
And then we have partnerships. We sell festival wristbands, and by having an artist wristband or a festival wristband, you can get discounts on the bars and the restaurants at all the venues where we had performances. And so that's kind of trying to offset the cost of coming to one of the most expensive countries in the world.
I'm sure that's very appreciated.
And then we just have a variety of venues for all sorts of, we have a theater venue and a dance venue and a music venue and a cabaret variety venue. So we introduced bring your own venue this year, so people can, if they want to perform in a bus shelter or have on their own living room that they want to have a show in. And that was super interesting, and we got some very exciting applications through that. And we also started a youth program this year, so Youth Fringe, which is aimed at teenagers from 13 to 19 years old. So any teenager in the country had access to free workshops that were led by Fringe artists. So there were workshops in theater, dance, clowning, marketing, and how to overcome obstacles to make art as well.
Fantastic.
So,
Brilliant.
and then they got a stage at the end of the week, so they could put up their own shows as well. That was all like handled by them themselves, like, so it's in a professional setting.
Cool. Anne-Marie, what do you do to make festivals as inclusive as possible?
Sure. One of the things that we do is we have a staggered performance fee model. So for our local community, we have a lower not application fee, but performance fee. And then for people outside of the area, it's a little bit more. Part of that was to encourage so many local artists who wouldn't think about performing or who don't have the means to perform on a larger scale to put their hat in the ring, so to speak. We also have a variety of discounts for military and seniors for the different ticket ranges. We have a lot of different volunteer opportunities, and we really encourage people, if you want to come and volunteer, then you can get in free for a day. And then also this year we're starting something on Saturday morning called Short Attention Span Theater, and that's a workshop and performance time for kids. So it's going to be for kids 5 and up. The tickets are going to be $5 US, and that's for kids and their parents. But it's really to encourage people to get their kids exposed to theater. A lot of kids don't really go to something unless it's a stuffy school performance, and then they go, oh, theater. And so we really want to reach out and start getting kids excited, because we did find that last year the kids who came were super excited, and they wanted to have more things that were kid appropriate. One of our groups last year did a Harry Potter improv, and so they were super excited about that. Another thing is that we reach out, there are different retiree groups in the Coachella Valley, which is about 40 minutes away from us. and they have writers groups, and a lot of these writers groups are composed of seniors and retirees. And we really reach out to them to encourage them to think about performing. And so we do have some retirees performing different one-person shows this year, which is exciting, to hear about their life story, or to hear about just, something they've created that's original. And a lot of these people are saying, I had no idea I could do this when I was younger. And it's been exciting to see people start to think of themselves as artists and performers. Yeah, and then our applications are open to everyone around the world, and we hope that in future years we'll have performers from beyond California. There are accommodations at the retreat center, so they can stay there on the beautiful retreat center grounds for a pretty low cost, and there's a beautiful swimming pool there.
Yeah,
must be like one of the hottest festivals and one of the coldest.
Actually, we had really nice weather all of last week, so.
Well, we're going to say farewell and thank you both so much for joining us. You've been fantastic. Happy World Fringe Day to you both. And congratulations on such brilliant festivals. So
good luck with your second edition, Anne.
Thank you, and I hope to get to Reykjavík for your festival.
Yeah, well, let's talk for next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're coming to both. Right, see you soon. Thanks very much.
Bye.